A 13-pound orange Persian was returned by 5 different families. Every one of them said the same kind of thing. He's distant, he's odd, he just stares. He sat in a shelter for 437 days while families decided that a cat who wouldn't cuddle wasn't worth the trouble. Then a 31-year-old woman who had just been told 3 times by 3 different doctors that she was completely fine took him home. And the strange thing this orange cat did every single day for the next 4 months, the thing she kept brushing off, would catch something 3 trained doctors had missed entirely. Nora Bishop was 31 years old and had been tired for most of a year. Not ordinary tired, bone-deep tired, with a dull ache low on her left side that she couldn't explain away. She had seen 3 different doctors about it. Your blood work is fine, it's probably stress, it's probably the way you sit at your desk, get more sleep. So eventually she stopped asking and learned to live with feeling a little wrong all the time. She lived alone in a small condo a few blocks from the water in San Diego, California, worked remotely, and had quietly made peace with the silence of a place that was only ever hers. She wasn't looking for a cat. A friend who fostered for a local rescue had practically begged her to just come meet one orange Persian that nobody could seem to place. His name was Biscuit. 13 pounds of fluffy ginger fur and a flat, faintly unimpressed face that looked permanently mid-sigh. His file was thick, returned at 1 year for not being affectionate, returned at 2 for being too independent, 3 more families after that, each one writing some version of the same note. He keeps to himself, he doesn't play, he just sits there and watches you. 5 families, 5 returns. He had been in that shelter on and off for 437 days. When Nora crouched down by his pen, Biscuit didn't rush over the way the other cats did. He just looked at her, slow and steady, and then walked deliberately to the front of the pen and sat down close, as if he had quietly made up his mind about something. He's not a lap cat, the foster warned her gently. He picks one person, and that's the whole story. And honestly, nobody's ever stuck around long enough to get picked. Nora looked at the tired orange face staring back at her. "Yeah," she said softly, "I know the feeling." She took him home that same afternoon. The foster had been right about almost everything. Biscuit was not a cuddler. He didn't chase the toys she bought, didn't greet her at the door, didn't do a single one of the things the internet had promised cats would do. He demanded his food by sitting in front of the bowl and staring at it, then her with grave disappointment. He claimed the sunniest windowsill as his own. But he was always near her, always watching, and within a week, Nora realized she talked to him out loud constantly, and that the condo, for the first time in a very long time, didn't feel quite so empty. "I see you're still here but haven't subscribed, and after a cat like Biscuit, that stings. Tap subscribe. What this orange cat noticed, you really need to see." And then there was the thing he did. Every day, often several times a day, Biscuit would climb into her lap or up onto her chest while she worked, and he would settle himself onto the exact same place, the left side of her rib cage just below her arm, and press. Not the right side, not her stomach, that one spot. He would knead it, lie on it, sometimes paw at it gently with one orange foot, and stare up at her with an intensity that was almost unsettling. The first few times it felt sweet. By the 3rd week, it had started to feel strange. She set up a little camera on her desk, half to send her sister cute clips of him, and the footage made it impossible to deny. It was always the exact same spot. She would shift him over, he would come right back to it. She would cross her arms over the spot, he would wait patiently and try again. She joked to her sister that the cat had a single favorite 3 inches of her entire body. By the end of the first month, it had become a running joke. Her sister started calling the spot Biscuit's office. Her coworkers laughed when the orange head appeared on video calls, always in the exact same place, like a furry paperweight she couldn't move. Nora found it endearing, then mildly annoying, then simply part of her day. The dull ache underneath it, the one 3 doctors had blamed on stress, she had quietly stopped mentioning to anyone at all. She had no idea he was trying to tell her something. Over the next 2 months, Biscuit only got more insistent, not less. The aloof little cat who picked one person had picked Nora completely. He followed her from room to room now. He slept pressed against her left side every single night. And later, Nora would realize there had not been one night in over 60 where he chose to lie anywhere else. And the kneading, the pressing at that one spot took on a kind of urgency, sometimes waking her in the dark to climb onto her and settle there, refusing to be moved. She started to genuinely worry that something was wrong with him, some obsessive behavior, maybe anxiety. So she did the thing that, looking back, saved her life. She took Biscuit to the vet. The vet checked him over from nose to tail and found absolutely nothing wrong with the cat. Then, half joking, she said something that stuck. "You know, cats fixate on a spot for a reason sometimes. They smell things we can't. If he keeps zeroing in on the exact same place on your body, honestly, it might be worth getting yourself looked at." If you have ever had an animal seem to know something about you that you didn't yet know yourself, then you already feel exactly where this is going. That night, lying in bed with Biscuit pressed to her left side the way he always was, Nora finally did the thing she had never once bothered to do. She pressed her own fingers to the spot beneath his head, and she felt it. A small, firm lump just under the skin, in the exact place her cat had been resting his head and pawing at for 4 straight months. The same dull ache she had been told for a year was nothing. The very same 3 inches her cat had refused for 4 straight months to leave alone. She sat up in the dark, her hand frozen against her own ribs, and a cold understanding spread through her chest. Biscuit lifted his head and looked at her, and for once she did not tell him to move. She saw a 4th doctor that week, and this time she refused to leave until they actually looked. The scans found it early, very early. A tumor small enough that it had slipped past 3 rounds of "you're completely fine," caught at a stage where the odds sit overwhelmingly in the patient's favor. Her oncologist, a calm woman in her 60s, listened to the entire story about the cat without laughing once. She said quietly, "I have heard versions of this more than you would think. We don't fully understand how they do it, but some of them seem to smell the chemistry of it long before any test we have can measure it. You found this months earlier than you ever would have on your own. I cannot overstate how much that matters." Nora asked, almost afraid of the answer, what would have happened if she had kept waiting the way she had for the past year. The oncologist did not soften it. "A year from now, this would have been a very different conversation," she said gently. "Your cat bought you that year." Nora drove home, sat down on her kitchen floor, and held a 13-pound orange Persian who had been trying to save her life for 4 months, while she kept gently telling him to move. The same orange cat that 5 families returned for being too distant. The same cat who wouldn't cuddle, wouldn't play, wouldn't perform on command for anybody. The staring they all found unsettling was just him paying closer attention to her than anyone had in years. The pressing they would have dismissed as a quirk was him pointing every single day directly at the one thing 3 trained doctors had missed. He was never aloof. He was never broken. He had simply picked his person and then refused completely to let her go. Once she was through the hardest part of it, Nora told the whole story online, with one photo of Biscuit curled, of course, against her left side. It traveled around the world. Her oncology clinic shared it. The shelter where Biscuit had waited 437 days was flooded with applications, many of them asking specifically for the watchful ones, the cats who pick a person and simply will not let go. Some stories are too important to keep to yourself, and someone scrolling past this one tonight needs to hear it. Today, Nora is healthy, 2 years clear, and Biscuit is 7. He still doesn't chase the toys. He still demands his food by staring at her in silence, and every single day, he still climbs onto her chest and settles against her left side, kneading the spot that is healed now, smooth now, fine now, the way he has every day since the afternoon she carried him out of that shelter. She doesn't move him anymore. She just rests her hand on his soft orange back and lets him check, one more time, because she finally understands what he has been saying all along. "I found it once. I am still watching. I've got you." Her sister flies down twice a year now, and the first thing she does, before she's even set down her bag, is find the grumpy orange cat she once called antisocial and thank him out loud. Biscuit accepts the gratitude with the same withering boredom he gives everyone, then goes right back to work. Some love doesn't look the way we expect love to look. It doesn't curl up in your lap on cue or come running when you call its name. Sometimes it sits quietly on the one part of you that needs watching, paying attention so close it borders on devotion, trying to tell you something you're far too busy to hear. Nora thought she had rescued the cat that nobody else wanted. It turned out she had adopted the only one who noticed that she needed rescuing too. So tell me, do you believe animals can sense things in us that we can't sense in ourselves? Or was Biscuit just a cat who liked a warm spot? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And if an animal ever tried to warn you about something long before you understood it, tell their story below. Somebody reading this tonight really needs to hear it.